Hello, everybody. So, today I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to tell about the worst job I've ever had. Now, I used to work for a company that you might know famously for maybe having a two number name. And during my time there for an entire year before it went to shit, it was the worst experience ever. Now, one of the things is when I work at a job, I usually follow the rules of the company and of what's important. I don't really take much for granted into what I'm supposed to do, and I follow it by the rule set. That was one of the bad things I did. I followed the rule set of the job. Now, the reason that's a bad thing is because while working there, the two main issues, the both managers, they were basically the reason why the job could have gone even more shit. Now, what I mean by this is that necessarily they did not follow regulations at all. In fact, they went their own way. They decided we'll do what we want to do here. Now, the two managers I didn't get along with were basically the one who hired me, the night shift one, who was not as bad as the morning one. The morning one was the main problem. But let's go over like this. Now, at this job, I'm not getting paid even minimum wage. In fact, I'm not even getting paid anything because at this job, you're supposed to work a certain amount of time. My job only kept me for 4 hours, 3 times a week at best, 2 times, if anything. And that was before the whole entire losing. That was after losing night shift. Now, the thing is, the one I used to work at, the place, it had night shift, and originally I was on from 12 till 8 in the morning. That was my night shift. But then it came to a change after a whole bunch of stuff started going on. We started getting more robberies in the morning lately. So they decided, let's not open, let's shut it down at 12 and not open till like 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe we can cut back on the losses we've made like that because they're losing money and stuff because we kept getting robbed. We got robbed 3 times in 1 month, and it was all during the morning shift. So, horribly enough, I lost my night shift work, meaning I had to deal with being called in to do work whenever they could put me on a list and somewhere around the mornings or afternoons, making my life a little bit harder, but not too much. And of course, if you guys know this, you guys know that when I worked there, it was when I was slowly beginning my channel. So, of course, I really didn't take much of it. I still had a job. I wasn't fired or replaced, but the thing is, I'm not getting a lot of shift hours. I'm not getting the amount of time to pay for working at night. No, I'm basically getting cut back now with the amount of money I can be receiving because they're making money costs. They're cutting wages and shit. They're not even giving me proper scheduling now because here's the thing about the one I worked at. They would continuously hire more and more people. At one time, we had at least 25 people on a schedule. And that was not even including 3 people that weren't even on the schedule, yet still worked there, and were still getting shifts. That was the worst part. Because that means there are people who work here more than there should be in this job site. So, going back into it, the managers were one of the reasons why this job became a living nightmare for me. And not in the sense that the nightmare was just, oh, they're not doing their jobs. Because the thing is, the morning job manager and the night manager both would somewhat do their jobs. They would somewhat do the work. However, night managers seem to like to push it all onto, hey, you do it, you got this. You'll be the next manager anyway. Which, honestly, I really didn't want, and I've only been working there for like a few months now. Like, bruh. I really did not want to be a manager because I didn't want to do all the paperwork and stuff because I'm not good at that stuff. But of course, the night manager really didn't care. So most of the managerial duty that I'm not really supposed to be doing got pushed onto me. Then came the worst part. The morning manager. I'm gonna go... Well, first let me go in full detail the night manager. The man was basically lazy. And he was doing more illegal stuff than legal stuff. Especially in the shop. That is how he actually became a manager. Because he would sell stuff in the store that wasn't meant to be sold in the store to bring in more customers. And these customers, high as a kite or just looking for some munchies on their way out or some smoking stuff, would pay for stuff before they left or pay when they came in for stuff. And that was how they would drum up extra business that they really wouldn't naturally get. Else the person came in already high as a kite. But that is that's not even the worst part. The worst part is this manager basically went against regulations and allowed people to do stuff that this began to affect workers. Because here's the thing, managers, they believe they're above what the natural rules of the fucking place are. So with this one, when he allowed other people to do certain things like use stuff from other, like for example, a bag of sugar from the aisle that you're supposed to buy for yourself, that's supposed to go home with you, we're not supposed to open it or anything in the store, he would allow this. And when it came for us cashiers to check out the people who just ran the floor, doing cleaning and all that stuff, we have to tell them, no, we can't allow that, sorry, we don't allow that. But that was a bad thing, because they would start using the manager's name, saying, oh, he allows us to do this, oh, we're allowed to do this, no, you're just stupid, all that, and people would basically come at you for this. They would get mad at you for this, because you're not allowing them what the manager allows. And that's what made it really horrible for me. Because this is what slowly broke me down, because it was horrible. Now, would I say that the night manager was a horrible manager? Not exactly. He did do some of his job, but then he'd have those moments, especially at sometimes he'd take one of the people I'd work with and dip from the store for 3 to 2 hours, leaving me by myself at night. Especially during the night shift, where I'm not supposed to be alone. Where in this store, it is company rule that you're supposed to be with somebody during the night shift. That way you're not in danger, that way you're not alone, that way you have some safety, and that way you have a partner to do the job and stuff. I was left alone for 2 to 3 hours a lot of the time, meaning I was by myself. And guess what? The person that he would only take like one person. That person was the one who mostly worked night shifts with me. They'd still get their full pay. They'd still get the full pay even though they were gone for like for a few hours. They would be gone and I'd be by myself. And that really ate away at me because I have a lot of high fucking risk fears in myself. I have high risk fucking fears. Like, what if somebody comes in? What if somebody tries to rob the store? What if their way and somebody comes in and I'm all by myself and I can't fucking defend myself because I'm by myself and they see that this person is going to be easy to rob. There's nobody here to help them out. We could rob this place. There's 2 of us type of shit. So, and sometimes we'd have drunk people come in. So that was worse because there's like 2 bars near us and a lot of people would come here for snacks and stuff. So it was not really fun at night when this happened. So going further and further into the madness, we had one issue one time where two people actually came in. They're drunk or maybe cracked out of their minds because they've been in the store for 2 hours straight, and my coworker and me didn't really know what to do. They're not buying anything, so after they go to the bathroom, both of them, both males go to the bathroom, and we're wondering what the fuck just happened. And after one comes out wiping his mouth and looking around the store for mouthwash while the other one is like fixing his pants still, we're like, okay, this gotta stop. So I calmly asked, sir, if you're not gonna buy anything, could you please leave the store? You've been here for 3 hours. And my coworker co-signed with me about what happened, and guess what? I still get told I was in the wrong, that you shouldn't have done that. They were customers. They've been here for 3 hours and basically had sex in the fucking bathroom. At that point, they're not customers. They're just fucking people fucking blowing time here, doing nothing. They're not paying. They're not doing shit. They need to go. But, of course, I'm in the wrong because I told them that after 3 hours of them being here, they need to leave because they're not buying anything and we're not a babysitting service. So, mind you, one of them began to threaten to fight me, assault me, and all that stuff. So, that was not really fun. Especially since they're probably drunk off their mind, on crack or something. It's not really okay. So, you'd think that management would listen to the two employees who confirmed it instead of the one person that came back in complaining like this while smelling like booze and shit. That, oh, this person's at fault. He was here for 3 hours. Nope. Even though they believed us, they said we should have kicked them out, that we were in the wrong. So, that was one thing that really set me off. Like, why? Just, why? What was the point? What's the point of having two people against one in both story and terms? Yet let me be the wrong one because I told them they need to leave because they're not buying stuff. It's been 3 hours and they're still here. So going through with the job and stuff, mind you, I'm still not getting paid a lot because again, I'm not getting a lot of hours because they keep hiring more and more people like they need it when you really don't. They're hiring more people to cut back on hours of having to pay people. Hence why, after the robberies, after they got rid of night shift, it really began to suck because that means my whole purpose of being at this job was doing night shift, so I didn't have to lose out on money. I got a lot of money because I would work from 12 to 8. 12 to 8? That's amazing hours for me. Sure, it's at a dangerous time of night where people are gonna be drunk and stuff, coming in late. But guess what? That doesn't matter to me. I literally get double pay for working at night, but now that that's gone, my pay is just shit. But of course, I still have to keep going with it because I need this job. I need to keep working. Now, let me get into the fact of the morning manager. The morning manager was by all means a piece of fucking garbage. Like, full on, you have never seen a man so pathetic in your life till you have had this as your manager. Now, I knew he was the one hiring a lot of people because he would hire specific types of people. I got hired through the night manager who has connections with me through somebody else, which I'm thankful for the job, but still, his methods and stuff basically ruined the store for me after a while. But the night manager would hire people who had criminal convict or charges against them. Basically, they would be on probation or anything like that, so that way he could easily get rid of them. I was not easy to get rid of. The people that the night manager would hire wouldn't be the easy type to get rid of. You needed to have full-blown reason to get rid of them. You needed to have full-blown reason to remove them from the job, I guess. Because the thing is, they would want to he wants to turn over employees a lot. And the employees he got, I've seen turnover fast and go disappearing for a while. Probably never come back or probably hoping to find a better job because guess what? This man would just get rid of them like weeks or months into it because he didn't want to expend the money for it because he knew that these motherfuckers would sooner or later catch on or want more pay, more job, more work, and he didn't want that. So the stingy man himself decided, hey, I'll just hire people who are on parole or have reports on them and stuff, so that way when I get release them from work, there's no issue. And since I wasn't like that, he and along with a few other workers, he would have to do a certain thing. He would call me the next day or a week later and ask while he's away, while we're not at the job or on our way to work, or ask us when we're there, hey, money went missing from the register. By chance, did you take it? Now, mind you, the register has cameras behind it, up front of it, and all get the register. They all get the register. So damn well he knows. Damn well he knows. I didn't take the money. Nobody else took the money. There was never any money taken. In fact, the money he would always claim was always the same amount or similar to the same amount. 280, 250, 275. No matter what, the same amount of money would always be missing. So it was pretty clear that he was trying to get people to either stupidly think that they might have taken the money, or people to think, oh no, he thinks I stole money, I might as well give money back. So that was one thing that really set me off about him. Now, he was also lazy. For the majority of the time, when I did do morning shifts, or I was there while doing the morning shift, or coming in to buy something while before leaving, when the morning shift showed up, when he was one of them, the man didn't do any work. The man didn't do check out any of the drink mixes, the teas, anything. He didn't do none of that. In fact, the first thing he did was sit in the office, sit in the back office for 3 fucking hours at best, from what I've heard. I've seen him sit in there for an hour, just doing nothing, not even doing work on the computer, but on his phone, not doing anything. While one of the front people is working the register, and then when there's no customers, we're running out to clean up any mess or anything. So hence why the night shift and the overnight shift used to make sure it was more easier for the morning shift to clean and stuff. But even then, it was still hard work. Now, when it came to how you'd say how many people he asked if they took money from the register, believe it or not, he would ask a lot. And he would ask even people that the night manager hired to try to get money from them, or at least get them to think that they stole, which was the worst part. But the real worst part came in when, after one night, I lost it. Now, while working there, I've had customers try to assault me, disregard my intelligence. In fact, I had one customer show up there who had passed out on the floor. She passed out sitting. We didn't know what to do, and people are saying maybe we call the police, call the ambulance. So I called one of the managers. They said call 911. But one person managed to get them up, and the lady got up, tried to ring up her stuff, saw that something was too much. She told me that she handed me the milk. Now, usually the thing is, customers know when you hand us milk and don't take it with you, or bag your own stuff, and you don't take it with you. If you leave it, we don't count it to your payment. So the thing is, I printed a receipt and I showed it to her. She took the receipt and I guess lost on the way home. And I kept the print with me. I kept another print with me because that felt like something bad might happen. The thing is, I didn't put the milk on her receipt, so there was no milk. She came back in ranting, spazzing. This was my first time dealing with a real fucking Karen, who, mind you, was on substance, who passed out on our floor. She's like, "Where's my milk? Where's my milk? You didn't give me my milk. You stole my milk." I'm like, "Ma'am, you didn't pay for the milk. You need to relax. I didn't put on your receipt. I have your receipt right here." And the thing is, she probably knew she wouldn't win this. She's like, "No, print my receipt up again. I don't trust that receipt." I'm like, "Ma'am, it's the exact same receipt. So I started going through the computer, trying to make sure I could find a receipt. Her receipt wasn't there. So I printed up a piece of paper, and she snatched it before I could fucking throw it out because it's blank. And I said, ma'am, that's a blank piece of paper. No, it's my receipt, and it says you have my milk on it. Now give me my milk. I'm like, ma'am. And she went in, took the milk, and as she's leaving, I guess her cracked out brain thought somebody said something racist in here, like go back to your country type thing. Now, both my coworkers and me were confused by her whole action, but when she came back in, and I told her, ma'am, nobody said that. Nobody said anything like that. And I looked at my coworkers, I'm like, you can even ask them. And they all confirmed it while she's recording me saying, I'm going to put you on Facebook. You're not going to have a job anymore. So you have two people already confirming nobody said anything like that. And mind you, my coworkers are not even the same skin color as me. I'm white, and you have a Spanish and a black coworker signing with the white coworker. Now, if the white coworker was told that they were being racist, then they would have sided with the customer. But both of them sided with me, saying nobody said that. And we're like shocked that this woman is like this. So we actually called for police to come. Mind you, the woman is writing, oh yeah, I'll be here so they can arrest you. But I guess the moment she realized that they were coming, and that she was about to basically go to jail for being on a substance, I guess is the moment she dipped. Because she quickly left after that. Now, that was the worst situation ever, and again, I had verbal commentary from the management saying that what I did was right, but still, you need to do your job more better. Are you kidding me? I'm doing my job as best as I can. So, again, there's another issue that I had. There's the same issue I had. The customer being always right shit when, again, they're not. And, again, really? This customer was basically high as a kite on something and being an issue for all of us. And now you're telling me I'm in the wrong because even though I called the cops like you told me to, now I'm in the wrong because I didn't let her steal the milk. I tried to do my job to make sure she didn't steal. I tried to do my job because I didn't want to lose it. And yet I was wrong for basically telling the lady that we didn't do anything. Ma'am, we didn't buy the milk. I took it off the receipt. So really, clearly, my opinion didn't matter. My coworkers' opinion didn't matter. All the managers cared about was just that we please the customers so that way they come back. Hell, you can even look up the place. You can look up the place that I worked at. The reviews for it are total shit. And the only reason it's still open is because they have so many people come in that are, like, just sick in the head. That they would rather go to this place because it's cheaper than go to any other place where it's going to be more expensive. They'd rather come to this place where the managers have basically allowed it so much that it's even reported that the people who work there, except for the managers, are basically abused. And it's horrible. And for... Bruh, I'm sorry if... I'm trying not to bust down right now, but remembering this shit is so difficult. It really does make me want to fucking cry. The worst thing, though, the worst thing was that we would get basically verbally assaulted constantly, and it was not easy. It was nightmarish. And during the nighttime stuff, it was even more terrifying, especially when one of the managers basically made me be left alone. So, I would have to deal with constant abuse, harassment from customers and management, while morning manager harassing over missing money, along with my coworkers being harassed by over missing money apparently. Which, of course, if money was truly missing and the manager really wanted to find it, they could just check the camera. Of course, the place I worked at, I made sure to read the fine line rules. Now, the thing is, the company isn't against you getting tips. However, the company also wants you to put tips into something where the money goes to the company. Now, I've read through the rules over and I saw the loopholes and I saw, okay, so if I collect the tips and don't put it into anything that is for the company, like for example, the register, by all accounts, it will count as my money. And I would collect tips a lot because I made sure to do some of my job of being a nice customer service representative on retail checkout. I literally would do my best. And so over time, I would always collect tips like quarters, nickels, pennies, dimes, and make sure to give the change back to people if they had change, and if they didn't want it, they and told me to keep it as my tip, I'd keep it as my tip, and I'd have it actually in a little bowl that I kept to the side. My morning manager didn't like this. In fact, my morning manager told me, "Hey, instead of putting your tips to the side because he knows the loophole, why don't you put it in the register and then after you shift, you can take it out of the register and go home?" I'm not stupid. I really am not stupid. The thing is, if I put it in the register and then take my tip out of the register, it's going to be counted as theft. And I knew for a fact that's what he wanted. So, I never did it. In fact, I told him, no, I'll keep it to the side so that way it doesn't get confused with the store's money. He didn't like that. So, of course, he came on me a little harder with missing money stuff. More and more. And it was a rapid thing. And I have, like, my mother, who was on the phone with me, hear this. We were originally watching a video and I put the fucking thing on call, on speaker, because he was calling to hear what he wanted to say. And again, here he was asking for it. And my mother literally whispered to me, "If you really did steal it, how come I've never felt it or seen it? You could have helped us with that if you really did steal it." As a joke. And the thing is, she's not wrong. But the thing is, I didn't steal. And there's no proof that I did. Because guess what? The cameras wouldn't show it. And he knew it. But since I never fought back against it, he just kept going on and on about it. Like, oh, if you took the money, just could you let me know, return it maybe, or... And I would tell him, no, I didn't take the money. But of course, he was always persistent, and it was just really aggravating. To the point it accumulated along with the stress, and one day, it was really bad. Now, it was one of the last days I worked. It was one of the last days I worked, and I'm getting basically verbally and harassed, abused. My mental state is not good, and I'm told, I literally, I never smoke. I never use a smoke break. I usually just sit in the store for the 3 or 4 hours I have, and then go home. So, one one day I'm actually getting cursed out so much I can't hold back. I'm trying not to cry, but I couldn't. So I asked my coworker to let me step outside, like for what he assumed would be a smoke break. No, I went around to the other side of the store where there's no cameras, it's dark, and I actually started to cry. I started to break down and cry. I couldn't take it. I was so distraught. I really couldn't do anything. I was crying. I was broken. I I told my mom what happened. Like I told her I can't do this. I gotta go. I'm coming home. I'm trying to call the management right now, text them, but I'm not staying. I can't. So I actually texted management that they have like an hour at least, an hour or two at least before I just leave and clock out and leave because I can't do this. I had like 4 hours to 5 to do, and management, of course, as usual. Morning manager doesn't answer or reply or say anything. Night manager, who I knew was awake at the time, and I knew who was supposed to be coming in for his next shift in like an hour or two, is ignoring my messages most likely, and he's not answering or replying. And I said, you have an hour or two before I leave to find somebody to replace me, because I can't do this. I can't do this tonight. So and the thing is, I didn't want to leave my coworker. I didn't want to leave them by themselves. And I kept telling them, "Are you sure you're gonna be fine with me gone? Are you gonna be okay by yourself?" And he kept saying yes. And I had it recorded. I recorded him saying that it was okay because I knew that was gonna be one of the issues. Like, your coworker said you weren't okay, he wasn't okay with you leaving, and I would have the recording just in case he said it was okay. And I had his own voice recorded and everything saying that he was all right with it and that he gave full permission for my voice to be used. So I go home. I go home and I had a mental breakdown. I was sitting in my room crying to myself. My family was shocked that that happened. I usually when I do jobs, I don't really break down. I usually shut down my emotions to focus the job, but I couldn't anymore. I really couldn't. I did my best to be a customer service person. I did everything I could, and even then, that night broke me. So around next morning happens. I get called by the manager, the morning manager. He's like asking me, "Hey, are you all right? What happened?" I'm like thinking, at least he's just asking if I'm all right. And I'm telling him, like, "Yeah, I'm fine now, but last night was horrible. I kept getting verbally assaulted, threatened to get physically punched and stuff. I couldn't take that night, and I broke down. And I couldn't stay there for the rest of the night, the shift. So I went home. I told him that I had waited approximately an hour or two for them to get somebody, but again, nobody had shown, and I left. And I told him I had my coworker's permission to leave, and I have it recorded still. And he's like, "Oh, okay, it's fine, and I understand." And then before the conversation stops or he hangs up, he asks, "Hey, so last night while you're working, money went missing, and I lost it. I lost it. I'm like done. I'm like, my family is just now in shock. My mother is just looking so pissed, like she wants to go stab this man." As he asked, did I steal or take $280 from the register? And my voice, my voice got ragged in fucking anger. As I said, "Are you really doing this shit right now with me? You constantly ask us, all the employees, and I know you ask every single employee this. I know you've been asking every single person, even the family members of the night manager, if they stole money. And I know you have cameras looking at the register. So how about you tell me this? Do you have proof that I took money from the register? Because I know your cameras work, man. I know they can see the register, and I know you've looked at the cameras before to see if you can find the person. I know damn well that this can't be right, that you think I took money when you have cameras and everything." And that's when his voice dropped and he realized he fucked up. But now he had full reason to fire me and let me go, because now he said, "Well, I'll send the footage to corporate and they'll decide what to do." Corporate never decided anything. And mind you, if it was true that I was taking money and stuff, the night manager wouldn't be trying to get me back to work there, or the night manager would have told me that, "Hey, what happened? Why'd you quit?" The thing is, I never quit. I was never fired. In fact, if they wanted to, they could put me right up on the list and I could go to work there. I haven't worked there for years, but I still know everything. I still know my code to get in. I still know the passwords and everything to get back in to the register. And I still have my uniform shirts. The reason is that morning manager convinced the owner to let him control the scheduling. The thing is, that's the thing. The morning manager got the scheduling now. Now the morning manager can handle the schedules, and the constant shift of employees has been happening a lot more lately. But it's clear that now that the morning manager has more control, and thanks to his now improved system to himself, he can make more money. I, of course, wasn't fired or let go or quit. And I would tell all the employees that still work there, even the night manager, that maybe if the morning manager wasn't a piece of shit who wanted to start shit of accusing people of being thieves and shit, I'd still work there. But uh, it gets worse, honestly. It gets worse. Because I almost was ready to commit a murder or a felony the year upcoming. In because he stopped putting me on schedules and everything before November started or after November started. So I stopped working for at least a month or two till next year. And in February, I've been waiting for the thing called a W-2 where you can do your taxes and stuff. And I've waited. I knew I was supposed to get one in January because I read the book. I've read everything I can to make sure I can do this job properly. And I'm wondering what's taking my W-2 so long. So instead of calling the morning manager, I called the night manager. I'm like, hey, did my W-2 come to the shop, to the store? And he had told me yes. And I'm like, could I come in and get it? And he told me yes. So I came in the next morning to go get it. And the morning manager, of course, knew I was coming. He knew. He knew this was coming. And he tried to say, no, no, I'm sure yours is still in the mail. Because we have two that are printed out. One is sent to us to hold on to, and one is sent to you. And I already knew that was bullshit. And I said, and I looked at the person at the register, and I looked at the other person that they had working in the morning, and I asked, "Hey, did you guys get yours delivered, or were they handed to?" They both said handed to them. So I looked at the morning manager. I'm like, "Can I get mine handed to me then?" And he gave it to me. Now, usually when it comes to the store, he tries to keep a polite tone and stuff, but he never looks my way. He never talks towards me like the other people that work there. But working for this job was a nightmare for me, and I honestly, to this day, still despise that job now. I honestly, I worked at Family Dollar before, and it wasn't that bad. I even only worked for 2 weeks before they had to let me go because I did say I don't care, but it was all misunderstood. But the nightmare I working at the place named after two numbers was a horrible experience, and honestly, I'd be happy to never work for a place like that again. Because truly, it was hell. It was a nightmare, and I hated it. Even now, remembering it, it makes me just like want to go crawl up a corner and cry. I did my best for that job, and instead I get treated like shit. All because I'm not part of the morning manager's regimen of employees to hire, and then I'm not following how the managers have set up the place against company policy. Now, I could probably call in about all the shit they're doing, but it's it's been like years since I worked there. Pettiness isn't a part of me for that long. But the nightmare of working there, the stress of it all, it still haunts me. Like, it's kind of one of the reasons why I'm a little bit scared to get another job, especially dealing with a situation like that. It lessened when I got a job at Family Dollar, and the job at Family Dollar was at least a little bit better than the one I had over there. And it didn't lead into risky stuff. It didn't lead into getting harassed or almost assaulted because I said no, or because I said we're not the management, we have no power to allow you to do something. It was never like that. But to this day, if I could, and if you do understand the place I'm talking about, I would recommend never work at the place I worked at. Now, would I say all of them are bad? No. Would I say the one I worked at was extremely bad? Yes. Even now, the night manager has gone his own business, right, from what I've heard. And honestly, he's stopped caring about the place he worked at before. He's still manager there, and he's bought half the share from the owner. But even now, I would recommend that never working for there. I not until the morning manager is gone, because that morning manager still has control more than you think. And since he got along with the night management, it's too risky for me. Still, I thought I'd re-dig up these bad memories and tell you guys. I mean, nothing wrong with telling you what happened in this year-long journey of suffering. And I've had many times when we've had a Karen, Darren, or a nightmare plaguing us of a customer. but no much so than the management itself. So I hope you guys enjoyed my time telling you this. I have more stories I can tell you about maybe next time I stream. But honestly, it'll have to be for another day. Till then, honestly, guys, I'm sorry that I'm a little distraught right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time I could. Till later.